This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics. We appreciate you tuning in. It was a busy day at the state capitol today. Lots of topics flying around, including football, alcohol, gun rights, and solar energy, but maybe not all in combination. An agreement to keep the Arkansas Razorback football games at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock included a long-awaited matchup with Arkansas State University in the year 2025, and two games with the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff in earlier years. The Razorbacks and the Red Wolves will play each other in 2025. The University of Arkansas will play the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff in 2021 and 2024. There will be no Christmas sales of alcohol in Arkansas. A bill to allow alcohol sales on Christmas Day was met with resistance in the House Rules Committee, where it failed. You'll have to buy it a day in advance, and you won't be able to order it at a restaurant or hotel if you go out on Christmas. Arkansas has the capacity to be a leader in solar energy production, but there are hurdles on the horizon. That's according to Arkansas Public Service Commission Chairman Ted Thomas. He told legislators on the Joint Energy Committee that Arkansas has that solar potential. During the previous session in 2019, the Arkansas legislature passed the Solar Access Act. The House of Representatives was expected to have a battle today on a move to pull Senate Bill 24, the Stand Your Ground bill, out of House Judiciary Committee and onto the House floor for debate and possible vote. Sponsors of the measure had second thoughts for now and are working on finding a solution with conservative opponents of the bill who think it doesn't offer enough protection to gun owners. And the House lead sponsor of the Stand Your Ground bill, Representative Aaron Pilkington, Republican of Knoxville, will be our guest after this word from our commercial break to explain what his options and strategy may be going forward. And later in the program, we'll hear from Secretary of Commerce and AEDC Director Mike Preston about some bills that are floating around to the legislature that he's playing both offense and defense on. We're back after this. Talk Business and Politics is sponsored in part by Capital Advisors Group and...
You'll find us at the end of a lot of long country roads, covering over 60% of the great state of Arkansas. Our 17 electric distribution cooperatives are working day and night to provide reliable, affordable power to over 500,000 homes, farms, and businesses, just like yours. The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, your local energy partners.
They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But if you're looking for something more, Walmart has you covered. We provide quality care, no appointment necessary. Whether you're looking for fresh, healthy groceries to fill your prescription, get a flu shot, or pick up your next pair of glasses, we're standing by with in-store health professionals available across the country to offer patient-first, affordable care whenever you need it. Apples, optional.
And welcome back to the program. Joining me now is Representative Aaron Pilkington. He is a Republican from Knoxville, Arkansas. We are glad to have him with us. Representative Pilkington, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
First up, the big announcement that the University of Arkansas is going to play Arkansas State in football. Where was the University of the Ozarks in this? Where's the love for your district?
You know, it's funny. David Ray, who's an alumni of U of O, I said the same thing to him. I go, hey, where's the love for U of O over here? So we kind of had a good laugh about that. But, you know, they don't have a football team, so it's kind of a problem.
Well, hey, look, and University of Arkansas Pine Bluff in the mix with that University of Arkansas contract, too. All good news for in-state stuff here in Arkansas.
Exactly. I love to see it.
Let's talk about Stand Your Ground. Obviously, the big debate today. You went to the well of the House and said that you were not going to pull the bill out of the House Judiciary Committee down to the floor. You're going to have a meeting instead. Tell me what changed.
So a few things changed. New information came to light. Gun Owners of America have now come out in support of this bill, which is great to have them. And I think some of the members knowing that information, I had a member last night tell me that he changed his vote and now he's for it, even though he was against it in committee. And we also had a member missing in the committee as well. So, you know, I think extracting is a huge move this early on. I'm willing to do it because if it's what our voters want, they're the ones we're ultimately accountable to. And so, going back home and saying, well, I respect the committee process, doesn't really matter to them. They want to stand your ground. But, I want to be respectful of my other members, and I want to do this in an open and transparent way. And I think letting them know about new information, talking these things out, if it takes a little longer to pass it, it's better though. Anything worth having takes work. And I think we want something that a large coalition can agree on.
Well, let's talk about one of the hangups in the bill, and I think it's been with some of the Gun Owners of America or the Arkansas chapter members, and it's been with this phrase about being legally present. Can you kind of explain to people what is the technical issue on this?
So, yes. So some believe that right to be there is stronger language than lawfully present. I disagree. With Gun Owners of America, their comment was, this is boilerplate. This is what we have in Ohio. This is the same language. So their national group thinks that it's fine. It's an interesting hang up. I actually think lawfully present is a stronger language than right to be there, which I feel is more subjective. And so that's kind of where the hang up is. So we're going to discuss that in ways to, I think, how do we find common ground, and how do we fix the concerns that people have that they have with being lawfully present as opposed to being a right to be there. Which, like I said, I feel lawfully present is stronger language, and it's what we see in a lot of other states. And like I said in committee, we're not trying to push the envelope. We're just moving the needle a little bit. So.
And it sounds like that the biggest issue is going to be with Republican members of the House, because you're meeting at the Republican Party with this group, this working group here. I would imagine you're not counting on any Democratic support. Tell me a little bit about what this working group you hope to accomplish.
Well, I just hope to have kind of a dialogue. Some people have said that they've got concerns, issues, things they want to discuss that they feel like weren't, adequately addressed. And so I want to do that. I want to take the time and hear them out and see where we can find common ground. The RPA change was merely a technical issue. The fourth floor conference room was reserved by another legislator, and it was an oversight. So, but Democrat legislators are welcome to come to the RPA. We've had them come before, other meetings and stuff in the past. So it's not unheard of to see a Democrat walk into the RPA headquarters.
Yeah, heck, you might even change their party affiliation in the process there.
I doubt that.
So are you committed to working through the committee process? Are you still holding out as an option that you may do this move to extract the bill from committee if you don't think you can get it out of committee?
All options are on the table. To me, ultimately, I'm kind of a guy who's, where does the rubber meet the road? What is the end result? And so I think, I'm not going to say anything's off the table right now. I would like to go through the committee process if we can. Unfortunately, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. We're on the House floor. It's a 1-to-4 ratio when it comes to membership makeup. So I don't want to get hamstringed by a committee selection process and not let good legislation ultimately come and pass the floor when the will of the body is to pass it. And that's why we have this rule, because, we wouldn't have this rule unless people thought that there's a scenario in which we might need to use it. And I believe this might be that case. So, but, when you do a big step like that, it's always good to cover all your bases beforehand. And I want to be open and honest and transparent with what's doing, and just try to have as many people come to the table so they feel heard.
Very, very quickly, 2 other bills that you are taking a lead on. One deals with repealing the sales tax on feminine hygiene products. Tell me where that stands, when that will run, what you think the need for this is.
Sure. So I think that's going to run next week, or my hope is at least. I think the need is, this is a product that all women use. They need to use it. And just like we don't tax pharmaceuticals, I don't see the need to tax a product like feminine hygiene, which they need it. And you think about it, this isn't just a tax break for women, but it's for all households, that have a female in it that's buying feminine hygiene products. One legislator tell me, I've got girls at home, I've got a wife. I mean, we spend quite a bit on it. And so they think that this is good policy. And I think, when you talk about eliminating the pink tax, we should do it. And I jokingly say this, though. It's like, hey, I want to help out women in Arkansas, and I hate tax. This bill does both. So why not do it? But I think, too, it's about, creating fairness. Why should we make a tax that only our female Arkansans are having to pay? So.
All right. Lastly, you've got a telemedicine bill. You got one off of the House floor today. I think your name is on another one there. Tell me what you're trying to accomplish in terms of telemedicine, in terms of the long view.
Sure. So with telemedicine, what we're hoping to do is what we're doing right now with the executive orders. We want to make that into law. So even when the pandemic goes away, so many people have gotten used to telemedicine in Arkansas that we want to make sure that we're still able to use this. Rural areas, schools, all these different areas. We've seen telemedicine as a great bridge to help bridge the access gap. And so I think we've seen there's no adverse consequences to using telemedicine through these executive orders. So we're just trying to turn that into law and, help bring access to all parts of Arkansas.
All righty, it's Representative Aaron Pilkington, a Republican from Knoxville. We appreciate your time. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be back after this word from our sponsors. Talk Business and Politics is sponsored in part by Impact Management Group and
we have a large commitment to our solar for good reason. It lowers customers' rates, it's emissions free.
Entergy Arkansas is the largest provider of solar in the state of Arkansas.
Utility scale solar is much more economic for customers. We're going to operate it, we're going to maintain it, we're going to focus on it. That's what we do for a living.
We want to continue to find ways to partner with our customers to meet their renewable energy goals.
Customers want this, we want to provide it. So our commitment is for the long term.
Stepping into the unknown, it can be difficult to find the way. But with the compassion of the cross and the security of the shield, obstacles become openings. As we have for more than 65 years, we'll continue to light the way, using our knowledge to create new healthcare solutions, giving you the power to shine forward to whatever awaits tomorrow. Arkansas Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Live fearless.
Arkansas Secretary of Commerce and AEDC Executive Director Mike Preston is working to bring jobs to Arkansas. He's also pushing to pass some of the governor's agenda at the state legislature, and he's playing some defense and hoping to modify a few bills out there too. He and I sat down for an extended conversation, which will be part of our Sunday television program statewide, but here's an excerpt. Well, there are a couple of bills out there that I guess, for lack of a better phrase, could affect the state's image in economic development recruitment terms. The governor's supportive of a hate crimes bill that has not made any movement yet so far. I'm sure there's still a lot of conversations that are going on. Representative Lowry with a couple of bills dealing with the teaching of slavery and history, as well as inclusion and social justice. Do you have any concerns about that legislation and how it shapes the state's image when you're out there recruiting business to Arkansas?
It does. It makes a difference. A lot of companies are dependent upon their image and their brand image and their ID. And, sometimes when, a state takes a stand and it's going to be opposite of what the consumer market is pushing for, there's a chance that they run into boycotts or other issues. Companies don't want to see that. They like certainty. And sometimes when you can go into a situation where you have legislation like that could present these problems for a company, it provides uncertainty to a business. So, I don't want to see anything that's going to be done that harms our ability to go out and recruit companies and give businesses a reason to say, you know what, we're not even going to pick up the phone and call Arkansas, or man, I don't care how much this crazy economic developer in Little Rock named Mike keeps calling my phone to come visit. I'm not going to pick up and take that call just because I'm worried about my image if I go to the state and they're the only state that has not passed a hate crimes legislation. I don't want that. So those things are important. We pay close attention to them in the economic development world. And, I know a lot of consultants and businesses around the country will take those things under their, advisement when they're trying to make a decision about where to locate.
Are you communicating those concerns to legislators?
Yeah, we have. We've been open with our support. I know our Economic Development Commission, our commissioners, collectively as a group, passed a resolution to support it. I host a monthly Economic Development Partners call that we've talked about this very extensively with all of our local economic development organizations, our local chambers of commerce, encourage them to support resolutions in favor of it. And talk to their legislators about how important, passing the hate crimes legislation it is, and not doing anything else that, is really going to harm the image or the brand image of Arkansas. Because, we're a consumer market too. We're trying to recruit people and companies here. We don't want to do anything to damage our brand or our image.
How about the bills that deal with social justice and inclusion and diversity?
Yeah, I don't think those have filtered up as much in terms of our conversations with consultants and others. Not to say that it won't eventually get to that point. And I think when you start looking at, when you do recruit a company here into our state, they start looking about what is it going to be like to live in that state. And you have trailing spouses who are then looking at what do our school systems look like, and what are they teaching, and or am I going to get a good education for my kids. So sometimes those are things that people might look into as a potential prospect coming into the state, and saying that's the hardest sell that we're going to have to make on this company now is convincing everyone else to move here to do it. And just small things like that could play a big role in the future. And I certainly don't want to, again, do anything that's going to hurt Arkansas.
That's Arkansas Secretary of Commerce and AEDC Executive Director Mike Preston. You can catch more of our conversation this coming Sunday as part of our statewide television program. Well, that is all for today's Talk Business and Politics. I'm Roby Brock. We appreciate you tuning in. See you next time.